Hello, everybody. Um, I just want to basically start a presentation about Heliospectra. We're a company in a LED. Basically, we're producing LED lights and lighting solution. We see LED lights and a control for horticulture market, growing different type of crops. To start with, I would like to just explain a little bit about the background of the company. So, the company started in 2006. We've done more than 1,000 spectrum tests. So basically, that is our core knowledge that we have, that we know exactly which type of crop, in what condition, what type of light they need. And also, we have already done close to 100 in-house research in this field. The company started from research, but for the last 4 years, we have been commercialized, and which I'm going to explain further. So, as I said, we are a global smart LED lighting solution provider for the horticulture market. These are our 4 market segments that we have. Commercial greenhouses, where you can grow tomatoes, cucumber, bell peppers, basil, salads. We have indoor grow facility, which is mainly, right now, for example, in this picture, is growing medical cannabis and the medical products. We have a portfolio on the vertical farming where you can grow in shelves, and they're growing like different type of crops like salads, different type of herbs like basil, parsley, and so on. And also we have a pretty good market share in the research and AGTECH, given the quality of the product that we have, and also the extensive of research that we already done in-house. So if you look at our solution, it's very much it's combination of lighting, sensor technology, as well as control and machine learning platform that we're going to combine all of these 3 together in order to just provide the best solution for the growers. And I'm going to explain how. On the right side, what you can see on the core, this is our lighting platform, which is combined of vertical farming lighting, value top lighting, and also economy top lighting. Basically, value is like where we have like a controlled spectrum, like variable spectrum lights, and also on the economy we have a fixed spectrum lights. But also on the left side of we have control and automation. We have a platform called Helio Core, which is very unique. We are the only company in the world actually today that we have a platform for controlling the spectrum of the light and adjusting to the crop need basically. And also this year, beginning of this year, we introduced technical services, because given the knowledge that we gathered, we saw that we can just provide such service to our growers in order to just grow the best quality crop all around the year. So there are a number of dynamics that actually demand for cultivation. One of them is population growth that is happening, and we would like to have more production in a more efficient way of food crops. We have urbanization, so mainly we would like to produce crop much more closer to where it is consumed, and also the dynamic that we have on the basic legalization of cannabis in Canada and North America, and also part of Europe, as well as the whole sustainability. Because using LED, using our solution, we mainly reduce the amount of electricity consumption, which is actually contribute to the carbon footprint and a much more sustainable method for production of a same food, same crop. Heliospectra value proposition is actually 4 value proposition that we have. So with our system, with our solution that we have, we're talking about we can increase the yield of the production. So normally, for example, in the case of tomato, we can easily increase the amount of yield by 105%. So we can double up the production by some investment on the lighting and the control. Also, we can accelerate harvest. Like basically, we can accelerate harvest by we should add by 15 to 20%, depends on the crop. Basically, we can shave off those time that is needed for harvest, and we can basically if the crop needs 6 weeks for getting harvest, we can do it in 5 weeks or 4.5 weeks, basically. We improve quality, because what we are doing is that we're bringing the right photons, right light, right spectrum of light at the right time to the crop. That means that we can reduce the amount of stress on the crop and also increase the amount of, improve the amount of quality. So, for example, we have a case in the lettuce that's of one of our customers that they decrease the amount of waste that they put because of the tip burn by 50%. And just because of the right spectrum of light and the right time of the day that is used. And the last but not least is a controlling consistency, which is our unique value proposition. This is Heliospectra's unique value proposition, which is consistency of the basically product, means that a tomato gonna taste the same, look the same, and the same shelf life, regardless of the condition that is grown, but also consistency of the production, which is actually very much of a business value proposition, that the growers, they can actually tweak the production based on the demand that they have. We know that a retailer, they ask for 6 weeks, 2 months to 4 months of basically production schedule that need to bring, and that planning we can do it through adjusting the light accordingly. And that is our basically Heliospectra unique value proposition. Just a very brief, this is how the LED lighting look like, the top lighting portfolio. We have Dyna, which is mainly for research, has 9 wavelengths. We have Elixia, which is our smart lighting portfolio for greenhouses and commercial use, has 4 wavelengths. And also we have basically EOS. These are top lighting for the greenhouse and also indoor growing. When it's come to vertical farming, we introduce the product called Sierra, which is actually used for different type of vertical setup. This is a picture out of Påarp in Skåne that they're growing different type of microgreens, herbs, as well as salads using Heliospectra solutions. In our Helio Core, which is our control and automation platform, there are basically 3 main modules. DLI controller, which is basically optimized production by hitting the DLI that is needed. DLI stands for daily light integral. Means that regardless of what time of the day we are, we can just actually bring the photons throughout the year to just make sure that the crop get the collective amount of photons that is needed for have the perfect production. Very unique for controlling. On target controller, very much like you can just adjust the amount of light that you want. Again, doesn't matter how much sun you get or what a sunny day. And also a schedule controller. Basically, you can just put a recipe, for example, waking up the crop with a certain, let's say, spectrum in the morning, during the day, afternoon, and the midnight, bring it to bed, basically. So that is how it's actually, these are the 3 modules that is in our Helio Core system. So just if you look at the Helio Core as just one product, this is actually analysis that basically we did a comparison between Heliospectra light and Heliospectra light plus control. We can see that we can even further reduce the amount of electricity consumption by 35%, which is, for example, for this case in Toronto, it has a close to $250,000 saving over a year. Basically because we are using log-on amount of light, not more nor less, what is exactly needed. And that is what you don't, it is not provided for you by nature, and it's not going to be provided by you by our kind of traditional lighting system like HPS. Log-on is our philosophy. And also the last basically product, which is our service product, is actually technical services. So we provide our growers with a customized lighting strategy, power grid installation, cultivation training, utility rebate, as well as crop trials. Basically, the growers come to us, say that I want to have this a specific crop in this specific condition. What is the right recipe I need to use? And that is how we provide that knowledge to them. And basically, of course, it's going to be a source of revenue for us as well going forward. In the May this year, we made we signed a memorandum of understanding, a partnership with ABB. So we are collaborating together in these 4 areas. So basically, in a simple way, we're working with a kind of bringing for the first time a complete solution approach. And the reason is that, I mean, most of our competitors today, they're coming from the basically LED kind of design business. Whereas we come from the crop side, so we understand light perfectly. And then since they're coming from the LED, most of the problems that the growers has is actually on the electrification, which they cannot respond. So with this partnership, we're going to go with a holistic integrated solution to our customers. Just make sure that not just light, but also the electricity is there. And that we're going to work together in this project together with ABB. We're going to do a lot of design and CapEx optimization together to just make sure that the solution that is there is actually adequate enough. Again, back to the logo. And also, we together in our Helio Core, which is our AI and the control automation platform, we work together with ABB to just make sure that the platforms that they have and our platform, they can build on each other to just kind of speed up our development process. And of course, we do joint marketing and promotion. Next week, in fact, we're gonna exhibit in Dubai together with ABB. Some of the results, financial. So if you compare 2017, 2016, this is about the last year. So we almost double of our order intake. We increased our revenue by 56%. We have 7% point gross margin improvement. We improve our headcount by 10%, but we could manage to reduce our operation costs by 12% and increasing our EBITDA by 28%, which is actually pretty good for a startup like Heliospectra. Now I want to look at it from the other way. This is because it's afternoon, so just have some exercise. So 2015 to 2018, if you look at the top that we manage the cost and also how we manage our sales, today this is actually quarter 3. We just published a report on Friday. We are close to 35 million Swedish crown sales, but also we managed to just get a good grip over our operational cost. So again, if you look at 2015 to 2018, we managed to increase our sales and also we could actually manage to decrease our costs, operational costs accordingly. That means that we are in a much more healthier situation and we are kind of taking a steps towards become more profitable. The shareholder, the slides are a little bit changed, the colors and so on, but this is our shareholders. Basically, Welland, Stoll and Midrock together, they own 45% of the company. And these are basically the top 8, actually, shareholders. Thank you very much. If there is any question.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Ollie. I was thinking that we could start with your partnership with ABB.
Yes.
What has it resulted in so far? I mean, you mentioned that you do have projects going on and so on, but has it have it spurred some new sales leads or?
We are working together to just create an integrated solution for vertical farming, for example. I mean, vertical farming per se is especially if you look at the part of the world that we have like a high temperature, we have water issues. Vertical farming is a solution that we can provide, for example, in Middle East. So we are trying to put together a standardized solution, and we are working also with the Association of Vertical Farming in order to standardizing the vertical farming, for example. That we do it with ABB. Also, we are exploring other opportunities in the other part of the world, like especially in Canada and America, that electrification, for example, is an issue. That's how we make sure that we can combining electrification as well as lighting solution to get into our customers.
Is that relevant for the medical plants segments as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As well.
Because you just briefly mentioned the legislation of medical cannabis that's currently taking place in the US and in Canada. What's going on there? I mean,
Canada. 17th of October, both recreational and medical use has been legalized. Also, the production. So, if you look at, and this is coding, is that if you look at the demand that is in Canada, there is a demand for 1,500 tons of cannabis to be produced per year, for medical purposes and export, as well as for kind of consumption. Today, the only amount that is produced is about close to 100 tons. That means that there is a gap to just fill with this demand. And for that, there is a kind of program by the government to just make sure that there is a buyback for those that are growing cannabis and they have a license provider. So that's a huge opportunity also for us, because our product going to make the medical plant exactly as is needed. So with the controlling consistency, for example, or accelerated harvest. So that is actually basically adding to the bottom line of the growers even further with using Heliospectra solutions.
Because you can see that a lot of large producers of cannabis in Canada are currently building substantial production facilities. What kind of lights are being used in those facilities? And
basically, they're mainly using very much of a HPS or HID, the type of traditional light. And if you ask me why, I think this is because I mean, the benefit of the cannabis is a lot that they haven't looked at it so much into details. However, there is a learning curve associated to it, because when these kind of growers, they start to building the plants, always they're hiring the growers that are coming from industry other than cannabis, and they bring in what they were being comfortable. And there's a lock-in situation with the HPS because this is in the market for 30, 40 years. So that is where they start. But we can see that they're turning to LED more and more.
Okay,
going
and
forward.
what do you believe that you could do? I mean, just to get them to understand the benefits, or because you mentioned a lot of value propositions that should be relevant for these kind of customers, or at least the segments.
You know, one of the philosophies that we have also at core value is that work as close as possible to with our growers and our customers. So I think we need to expand that and be as much as possible closer geographically and also mentally with our growers, to just help them to just make the conscious decision when they make an expansion plan. And that means that eventually we need to expand even further to North America, Canada, and the US to work closer to closer to our customers.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the audience?
I'm just curious to know, I heard about the order to Kew Gardens in England. What are they going to use your lightning for?
Actually, I don't have it on top of my head. To be very, I mean, I know that it's not cannabis. It is actually food, but I don't have. Oh, Kew Garden. I don't have it top of my head. The crop actually.
Okay.
But if you provide the name, I can provide you with the information later.
But it's
on.
flowers, isn't it?
It is. It is a flower. But what type of flowers I don't have in top of my head.
Well,
Yeah, I wonder what impact has currency moves had on your sales figures this year?
I think it was pretty neutral. I mean, compared to 2 years ago, your currency you said, right?
Yes.
So most of our sales has been into US dollar as well as Canadian dollar. So it was actually working in our favor
Yeah.
a little bit, but not that much.
Not that
2016 was great actually in that sense.
And also, you had this slide with your operating expenses and income. Just one factor was missing, and that was the cost of goods sold. You have mentioned that you have chosen to work with a new contract manufacturer.
That's correct.
Could you just elaborate a little bit on your ways of thinking and what you are trying to achieve?
As we grow, I mean, we needed to. I mean, we are working with a customer with a higher demand. They demand more on the volume that we can produce and also on the quality. So it was actually time for us to move to another contract manufacturer in Sweden, which can create much more volume and also provide us with I think better, I would say, gross margin eventually that we can share with our customers at the end.
Is it too early to expect an effect already during Q4 2018, Q1
Yes,
2019?
I think we can start seeing those effects from Q1, the first half of next year.
Okay. So it's time for our next presentation. Thank you very much, Ollie.
Thank you. Yep.